Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors, and a happy Valentine's Day to all you ladies out there at all ages, or young ones watching the show and the old ones watching. And we're just glad that come on the show today, and I have a special guest, Lieutenant Stan Kirkland's here. We're going to give away that two big prizes for Valentine's Day. Hope you've entered, and let's get started first with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Really, it's going to get cooler now. We're looking at it getting low of 44 degrees. That's a good feeling right there. We won't have much more cold weather left, I'm afraid. High today will be 66, and water temperature stays around 65. The river readings, we talked about this yesterday. This is just great to get this much water in the Apalachicola River Basin. What's going on now, we're getting to, up there close to flood stage, just reading 18 foot, and it's going, they say it might even get close to 20. But the good news is all this water gets up there in those sloughs and back pockets and all, and just re-nourishes everything. And then it's just really good news for the ecology of the whole system of that basin there. All right, down to Choctawhatchee. We'll take a look at the Choctawhatchee at Carabelle. It's high also. We're going to, and it's staying pretty. Let's see. I think I did that one first, didn't I? I pulled up the wrong one. Let's try that again. Here's the Choctawhatchee right here. Did I have that backwards? All right, here's the Choctawhatchee right here. Choctawhatchee is reading a 14.8. Both of them are right there on the edge of flood season. Choctawhatchee is going to be really big. It's going to be up there around for the weekend, Friday and Saturday. It's going to be high water. Same thing we say about that river basin too. All that backwater gets in there, and that's some really good stuff. So we're really thankful to have that happen. Now let's look at our tide chart again on the saltwater scene. Not getting a lot of tidal flow like we normally do. The big thing is, of course, the weekend we're going to have a little bit more, but today being Valentine's Day on the 14th, always having a high tide at 1:30 this morning, then another low tide. We got what we call double tides. You can see two little dips in it, but you're talking about like a 0.4 foot range. So the wind a lot of times will dictate where the water will be. So it's going to pick up some this weekend, especially next week. Will be some really good high tides. All right, let's take our first break, and we'll be back with Stan. Welcome back, folks, and welcome Lieutenant Stan Kirkland.
Good to see you, Winston. How are you today?
Glad to have you. We're talking about all this rain we've had this week. Had a lot of it.
And by the way, congratulations. You killed a nice buck the other day. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That word got out about that before he hit the ground. I think you were sitting there texting as you were about to shoot him.
I did let some people know about it. Put it on the show a couple of times and showed my students. So I did try
great.
to, I was proud
terrific.
of it. Very
you
thankful.
Got a right to be proud.
Very
nice
thankful.
Deer.
And Ken got some too. So
Ken and I think Ken and his son got one, and but I'm telling you, you did well. That's good.
Well, thank you. And speaking of deer, I told you I don't think my emails ever lit up like it has on this subject. Because when people just all of a sudden, we brought up something the other day, and then I hit a nerve with some folks about this deer depredation, and I said I didn't know that much about it.
Right.
So
Before
I said,
we do that,
Stan gets here.
We will talk about that. Before we do that, can I mention one thing?
Sure.
I wanted to say hi to a great group of scouts. They're Pack 382, Jonathan Hayes and Jenny Collier that works with you at Mosley. They're the den leaders, I think you call them. But nice group of kids. I went down and spent about an hour with them last night and took a box of animal skulls, and we talked about bears and manatees and bald eagles and all kinds of stuff. But great group of kids.
Well, I've seen that group. We've had some pictures of them. They were fishing down at the City Marina one time.
Yeah,
and that's good.
Yeah, got a nice group of kids. Very nice.
Very
all right,
good.
Want to talk about deer depredation permits. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start at the beginning. About how state. It didn't happen last year. We've been doing it a while, obviously, but
this. First of all, as over the period of years, white-tailed deer numbers have increased, not just in the South, but across the country. Mm-hmm. And most states, not all states, but most states have some form of, they've made a decision, I should say, in allowing farmers to be able to control deer that are eating their crops. That's what a depredation permit is. Mm-hmm. And Florida, like most states, does have a deer depredation program. Some states don't even have a permit. They just tell you if they're in your fields, you can kill them. Doesn't matter. In Florida, we do have a program. When it originally started out, and this was years ago, and I don't know the year it started. I should know it, but I don't. When we originally started the deer depredation program, we required farmers, if they're going to kill these deer, to take them and donate them to a nonprofit. That sounds great. Sounds really good. The problem is a lot of the nonprofits don't want them.
Yeah.
You know, you pull up with a dead deer in April and say, "Hey, I'm required to give you this deer," and they look at you like you're trying to, sell them moon dust. They don't want them, and so we were putting a burden on farmers who had to work, who had other obligations. So we changed the conditions of the permit. Now, to back up a minute, under the new program, anytime we get a farmer that calls us and says, "Deer are eating my crops, I need some relief," the first thing we do is try to encourage the farmer to explore fencing to keep deer out of their crops.
Okay.
Now, all you have to do is go and price fencing to know that it's very expensive to do that. Most farmers don't want to do that. So the next step then is, once the applicant or the farmer fills out an application, it's called a deer depredation application. Once they fill that out, we dispatch an officer to go and look at the field, verify that they're having crop damage, and then we can issue that farmer a permit. That permit can be extended to his or her employees to be able to use it, because farmers work during the day. They can't, if they want to keep the deer run out of their fields, then they can certainly have employees go and take care of this. The permits, I think, generally expire in 90 days or at the end of the time that when the crop is harvested.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, that's how it works.
So that's the background of it. Okay.
That's the background.
Okay, that's good. Then I got some more questions. Well, we're going to take this break, and we're going to come back, and it's Valentine's Day. We got a couple of nice Valentine boxes we're going to give away. Then we're going to finish talking with Stan on this. Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back, and talking about boxes and all. It's Valentine's Day, Stan.
That's right.
I know you've taken care of business, your wife and daughter, and all that.
We're squared away.
All right, very good. This comes from out of the box. Linda Lee Bell. Your daughter works there. Sarah works there.
Right.
And went to them the other day and said, "I'm going to give away a couple of nice boxes," and they put this together for us. It has all kind of stuff in it: the candy, the pliers. It's got this one over here. Okay, that's got even a pistol carrying case right back here, and it's all kind of nice stuff. Really, I'm just proud. That's out of the box. They're located right behind the Chick-fil-A there, and you run by there and see those great folks. And had a daughter in my class, Caroline, and of course Sarah was our Outdoor Club president.
Right.
And so what we're going to do, we have two. I originally thought about doing one, but I had so much stuff. Linda Lee said, "Let's do two." So
okay.
I'm going to let you draw. And we've separated all. We took all the ugly boys' names out of the pickle jar, so all we have is a girl's name. So let's pick out the first winner, and you pick out one now. Don't pick out. And that winner is Helen Turner. Helen Turner, okay? Helen Turner, you won this box right here. Okay, Helen Turner, this box over here. The next winner, June Alderman up there at Chain Lake at Greenhead. So Helen Turner and June Alderman, happy Valentine's Day from Panhandle Outdoors. So thank you very much. Thanks, John, helping us out here. And I'm gonna
set that one right there.
I'll keep in, and now we're gonna give stuff away all year round. We give stuff around. Last year we gave around $8,000 worth of stuff. I think we gave away.
Wow.
So anyway, now we want to get. I've gotten, like I said, emails and all, and what these emails were concerned with, it was a waste, and people were taking advantage of them, riding around in trucks and shooting them, all kind of stuff like that. So what you gave us a good background on the history of it. So what at this point in time, once they get a permit, what can happen then?
They can, Winston, we encourage them to utilize the deer, but if the farmer wants to shoot the deer and leave them laying, he can do that. He can do that. Okay. Again, you know, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have deer coming on their fields, but you know, the farmers, you know, have to have some relief. They're struggling just like everybody else to make a profit, and if deer are eating their crops, the problem that or the point that hunters make, and I'm a hunter. I grew up in a farming community up in Jackson County, which is very rural, so I'm very sympathetic to the farmers. I know what they're up against. But the point that hunters are trying to make, those that have emailed you and that I've heard from, is that, you know, we don't see many deer anymore. They're killing all our deer, and you know, that's generally the sum of it. Well, what I would encourage any group of hunters who are near farmland is to reach out to the farmers and try to come to their aid. And in other words, during the off season is reach an agreement with a farmer that we're going to, instead of trying to build your deer herd in surrounding lands as high as you can, is to try to obtain antlerless deer permits, which is totally different than deer depredation permits. By utilizing antlerless deer permits and that week of antlerless opportunity that we have, they might kill a few more deer on their hunting club than they want to, but they may be able to prevent you know, an antagonistic relationship with farmers, because if you've got a farm or a land that where you grow crops, it's fertilized. I mean, it's like a food plot. And so when you've got, you know, this forest around it, those deer are going to come out and feed on it.
Yeah.
It's like defying nature to think that they're not going to come out there and feed on it.
Is there any particular crop? Is it watermelon, peanuts, or just a combination?
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's even cotton. A lot of people say deer won't eat cotton, but when cotton's small, they'll even eat cotton. They'll eat the cotton plants, not the blooms and all.
Just
but
the greenish.
Yeah, when it's emerging. But peanuts, wheat, peanuts.
I know watermelon.
Corn,
a lot of times they go there and stomp in the watermelon.
Right. And you know, I was reading recently about the same problem in Kentucky with elk. Right. They've just spent tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars establishing an elk herd, not only in Kentucky, but we've got elk now, or I say there's elk now in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. They're in now to the into the National Forest, the Smokies, and in Kentucky, if they have a deadline, and if elk cross that deadline, they're not protected. They're just like open season on them because they don't want them in farmers' crops.
Okay.
And so that was an agreement. The important thing is, had we not enacted a deer depredation program, this likely would have been taken away from our agency. And there's a couple of things that would have happened. One is farmers were demanding relief. And so we could either come up with something that obviously a lot of hunters are not crazy about, and that's an understatement, I realize that.
Yeah.
Or the legislature could have looked at this if it had gone that route and said somebody's going to be paying these people, and where's the money coming from? And we don't want to have, and I don't know how that would translate, where the money would come from, whether us or whether general appropriations from the legislature, and I don't get into all that part, but these people, these farmers were asking for financial remuneration. They were asking to be paid. So this is not a perfect program, but it gives farmers some relief and a way to deal with a problem. And unfortunately, right now, I don't know if there's a better program to deal with this.
So all states are doing, Alabama and Georgia?
Well, the states that I've looked at either have a a depredation program, or they just allow you to kill them if they're eating your crops. Not all states, but many states do.
So it'd be good instead of, like say, leave them in the field. At least it's okay to take them out of the field. You're not required to leave them in the field. So if somebody, if
that's correct,
a needed family or
sure,
rescue mission or something like that, if you clean it or whatever.
The problem is all of your processing places are closed in the off season.
Yeah.
There's no place that a farmer can go to in the off season. The places you and I are familiar with, they're not open now. So I mean, they're not open during the off season, which is the time that these crops are growing. Mm-hmm. So the farmer is going to have to, if he picks it up, then if he can't just give the animal to somebody, he's in a box. So that's what led to the present program that we now have, where we required them to take them out of the field.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Maybe they could get a network of people. A lot of guys, back in the day, we cleaned ours and before processing plants came along and all. So maybe some people might be interested in doing that. If they had a network of farmers and a network of people who'd want to do that, just call them up or something.
Well,
that might be something to work out.
Well, again, if I was had a hunting club near farmland that I knew was getting Atlas permits, I'd try to talk to the farmer and see if they'd be willing to work with us and let us try to maybe reduce the numbers on our properties.
Well, and if you have any ideas on that, shoot us some emails and all. We'll talk about it. Maybe we get some solutions to. I know it's a problem on both sides, and there's two sides of the story. And I know these hunters put a lot of money into leases, and these farmers have to make a living off their crops.
And there's very few of these permits issued south of the Interstate 10. Most of them are issued, obviously, in agricultural areas north of I-10.
Okay. All right, let's take our final break. Stan's got a lot more stuff we're going to talk about. All right, welcome back. We're glad you're with us this morning. First, let's take a look at our fish and game forecast for today. We're looking at our time this morning at 3:03 to 5:03. We're past that, but this afternoon, 3:26 to 5:26. Excellent time with fish and game. We're moving. All right. Speaking of moving, what all you got going on now?
Well, Winston, the Python Challenge in South Florida. Thankfully, we don't have pythons up here, other than an occasional person that lets their pet escape. I don't know if you call them a pet or what, but the Python Challenge in South Florida is wrapping up. They got I think somewhere around 50 snakes. I don't know the longest snake they had, but I understand that several people have caught multiple pythons. The population down there is estimated at I'm told more than 100,000. It's just amazing how they've bred.
That is amazing.
And I hope that I don't live to see them come this far north, but they do have them. The person who caught the longest snake gets, I think it's $1,500 a person, or person who caught the most snakes, I believe, gets $1,500, and the person who caught the longest gets $1,000, I believe it is. So all that'll be wrapped up, but we had 1,500 people that bought permits.
Wow.
So it was amazing. Some people have wondered why that we did this, and it's just to draw attention to the fact that pythons are a problem down there. They're an invasive creature, and they're all over the place.
We hope they don't get up here to the Apalachicola Forest or Tate's Hell or a place like that.
Well, they're more a water. They're more of an animal that does that well in a swampy surrounding like the glades, and I think with if we have normal winters that hopefully we won't have them up here, but who knows? We'll see.
All right, and you're talking about gators
too. Winston, we're already starting to get calls about our upcoming gator season. It's very popular here in Florida. It'll be in late April. That we have, and that's not very far away, but it'll be in late April. I want to say it's April the 29th is the first day that you can submit an application for this year's harvest. Last year we issued just under 5,000 permits. I don't remember the exact number. Each person can kill, they can kill 2 alligators on a permit. They just, I was looking at some of the data. It's amazing. About 60% of the people who obtain a permit fill their permit. And the average size of the gators taken is just under 7 feet. That's between 6 and 7 feet. So that's average size. We have some smaller, obviously, and we always hear about the really big ones. But anyway, so that's coming up.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a couple minutes left now. What else is going on at agency? Anything? We got all kind of stuff. Springtime's about to be kicking off.
Well, yeah. Of course, we're about to enter our muzzleloader season here, where you can hunt with for muzzleloaders with through next week. I think it's through the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then of course the next hunting season we have is the spring turkey season. It's 6 weeks here, and people are already talking about hearing them gobble in the area. Yeah. So,
and that's one of your favorite things to do, isn't it? Turkey hunt.
I do enjoy going. Yeah. I do. I've been blessed that I've got a few places that I get to go to occasionally, and I just love hearing them. Love seeing them, and they're just an amazing bird. Yeah. Amazing success story too. And of course we've got a meeting coming up next week, Winston. And I know you've mentioned on the show in Bonifay about the wild turkey program in Holmes County, and we're going to be having we'll have people that will attend that. Some of our staff that'll talk about the harvest, what's done, and what's farmers can do to help us out, or to help the turkeys out rather, in that county through habitat management, burning, those sorts of things. So that's coming up.
And that's such a big deal, and that's been such a success story up in that area.
Oh, been an incredible success story, and it goes to the people in that county. We brought in 121 birds from 1989 through 1999, and that population has exploded. Wow. It's done well.
That's great. Well, Stan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you, Winston.
Always great information on folks. Thank y'all so much for watching the show, and a happy Valentine's Day to all y'all out there. You have a great day at work or school, and do something good for somebody, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.